All right. Hey, here we are.
Hello.
On the worst podcast ever.
Eva.
After we just wrapped. It's Saturday.
This is amazing.
WRST NFT Gallery opening.
Amazing.
But more importantly, the Be a Good Human Education Foundation launch day.
I can't believe it's actually happened.
Amazing. Here with Karla Grzymala. Thank you so much for joining me. Tell us, Karla, who are you and what is the Be a Good Human Education Foundation?
Well, thank you guys for having me. I really appreciate it. So I come from a photography and art teaching background. And through just learning about NFTs, I wanted to create a collection that would then in turn help the kids in some way, shape, or form, right? And I was like, well, how can I do that? How do I raise money to give out scholarships? So the whole idea behind the Education Foundation kind of came to be because I wanted to be able to give out scholarships and grants to different students or really anybody that wants to do a project that would improve their communities. The name Be a Good Human comes from me and what I told my kids really for the last 5 years. Every time they left my classroom, I was like, all right, make good choices, be a good human, make good choices, be a good human. You know, like if you learn nothing else in my classroom, just please learn to be a good human. And so naturally, I felt like that was what I needed to name this foundation and kind of what I wanted to put out into the world.
Fantastic. What does it mean to be a good human? I wish we could teach people more broadly about that. Imagine a world.
I feel like everyone might benefit from a lesson in how to be a good human. I think ultimately it's just the intentions behind your actions, right? Like not being too selfish and thinking about how what you're doing can affect others. And one thing I really pride myself on is how I present myself to my students and just be an example of what a good human is in the way that I talk to them and the relationships that I build with them and how I encourage them to go about their day. I might be the only good interaction they have all day long. So it's my intention with people that I meet and my students to like just instill that in them and they see it through me and then maybe that encourages them to do it as well.
Right. The intention behind your action, right?
Yeah. Think about it.
Right. Coming from good intentions. Wanting the best for people, seeing the best in others.
Yes.
Right.
Yes, for sure. Don't make assumptions, right? Like, don't have a judgment right away. Get to know someone before you judge them. And as a teacher, honestly, so many times you hear certain students' names before they ever get to be your student because maybe they misbehave, right? Or maybe they just have a reputation for not having the most patience. And I always made it a point to get to know them before I made any sort of judgment or like opinion of how they were, and usually none of those things came true for me because I treated them like another respectable human, right? So my good human interaction in turn made them want to be better in my classroom.
That's right. And you've got quite the reputation. Been a teacher for quite some time, and I understand that you may have at one point been named one of the best teachers. Tell us about that.
I got right before the pandemic, so March of 2020, I think a week before we went on lockdown, I did a huge mural project at my campus. I had literally taken on probably more than I needed to, but we had so many cool ideas and they had given us a green light to paint whatever we wanted, just like have fun with it. And so we did this long, I can't even say maybe 70-foot hallway, 2 walls, 1 day, and approximately 60 kids, and just like made a really beautiful mural that's still there. And that I think really helped our campus feel a sense of ownership and a sense of like pride and like how beautiful it was and that the kids made it, so they felt a sense of ownership over it. And that year I did get Teacher of the Year, and it was an honor because that comes from your colleagues. Like it's the other teachers on campus and the staff that kind of like come together to pick someone. And I felt like before maybe it was a little bit of like a popularity thing, but I felt like that year I earned it because I feel like I made a really good impression on the kids and they made a project that lasts forever.
I mean, teaching for years on its own is quite a feat in contributing and influencing kids.
Yeah, it's rewarding, but also challenging.
Absolutely. And it's a public service for sure, right? We need more great teachers out there to help encourage our kids to be good humans.
Yes,
absolutely.
For sure.
And even more than that, being named Teacher of the Year. I understand that you've had a pretty successful photography career for many years. Is that right?
Yeah, I started in around 2003 in a darkroom in just an elective class that we took. That I took at my school, and through that just kind of found a passion for it and just would be in the photo studio for hours, like just developing film, like the good old school photography. Now it's all digital, but back in the day there was definitely something to be said about being in the darkroom all day and just kind of meditating over your art. And then I just continued to do it, and now I am doing it as a freelance photographer here in the Austin area. I get commercial clients, I get families, a little bit of everything, so it's really fun.
All from having good intentions and helping people out.
Right, like it started with friends would be like, take a picture of me doing this, and it just kind of grew. And then the relationships that I build with my clients, all of my business is word of mouth. I don't really advertise that much. And I think being a good human and just treating people with kindness will get you a long way no matter what you do.
That's absolutely right. And you helped curate a couple pieces of art for the gallery.
Yeah.
And we actually have a couple of other artists that are in the gallery as well. So we'll bring them in to have a chat with you.
I would love that.
Yeah. But tell us about how you, maybe just last piece, how you help these 2 young aspiring artists have their first gallery showing.
I feel like a lot of people have this idea that being an artist, you're going to be a starving artist, right? Like there's a stigma that's been around for a long time that, oh, you want to be an artist, you're not going to make it. Oh, like that's not a career that you want to go into. Where especially recently, I feel like that's the complete opposite. You can really find creative careers out there. And so when I'm talking to my kids about it and being like, just put your art out there. Like, let me take your paintings. Like, let me borrow them. I'm gonna put them in this gallery. And they're like, what are you talking about? I'm like, no, you need to show your art. You need to just share with the world like your talent, because it's amazing. So these 2 students, I was more their mentor this year than their teacher because they're in an advanced art class. But I was able to like get to know them just by going into their painting class and like sitting down and talking to them and asking them questions about their art and what they wanted to do after high school. And I would say Vincent was a big reason why I started this foundation, so fast. Because I was like, man, this kid is so talented. He's about to graduate. How can I help him? So by mentoring him, at least I got him into this gallery, and it was so sweet to see how appreciative he was yesterday, right? Because he's sharing his art and he's like so excited about it. And I'm like, no, this is just the first step, dude. Like, I don't think you understand. Like, we're going to keep going with this. So just being able to help these 2 young artists see that they are talented and they don't have to be shy about it and they should put their art out there was a huge deal. And that's another thing I want to do through my foundation is just offer mentorships and like help people figure out how to do these things. Because me as an artist, I never knew. I didn't know that I could actually make a good living off of it. I had to figure it out along the way. And so having someone like me back then would have probably changed my whole life. So I hope that I can do that for them.
Yes. Thank you, Karla.
Yeah.
Thank you for being such a great human and
Thank you.
Encouraging and inspiring.
Thank you. I appreciate you so much. I appreciate you and Matt. Thank you guys for all of this. This is an amazing gallery.
Yeah, more amazing thanks to you.
Oh.